Welcome to Back Today. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial, universally and solemnly known as the Genbaku Dome, materializes on the skyline of the rebuilt, bustling city of Hiroshima, not as a triumphant spire or an ornate temple, but as a stark, skeletal phantom, a permanent scar upon the face of the modern world and a hauntingly beautiful ruin whose profound, gut-wrenching power lies entirely in its agonizing, meticulously preserved state of catastrophic destruction. It is a negative space in the urban landscape, a void that speaks louder than any filled structure, a physical embodiment of a single, world-altering moment frozen in time, standing in silent, desperate testament to the absolute zenith of human ingenuity channeled into the machinery of utter annihilation. This is not a monument built to commemorate. It is a ruin preserved to scream a warning across the generations, a visceral, tangible relic that transcends language and politics to communicate the raw, unfiltered horror of nuclear holocaust through the brutal, universal language of shattered brick, scorched steel, and absences where life once thrived. To approach the Genbaku Dome is to undertake a pilgrimage through layers of memory and rebirth. One first traverses the vast, meticulously kept expanse of the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, a serene and beautifully landscaped area that was once the bustling political and commercial heart of the city, incinerated and flattened into a radioactive wasteland by the detonation of the first atomic bomb used in warfare. The park itself, with its green lawns, tranquil walking paths, and the soft, respectful murmurs of visitors from every corner of the globe, represents humanity's resilient, indomitable will to live and rebuild, a powerful testament to peace forged in the very crucible of annihilation. Yet, at the northern end of this park, visible from almost every point within it, the Genbaku Dome rises, or more accurately, persists, as the haunting, indelible core of this narrative, the dark, gravitational center around which all this modern peace and tranquility eternally orbits. As one draws nearer, the details of the ruin begin to imprint themselves with unbearable clarity, each mark and fracture telling a specific chapter of the cataclysm. The building's skeleton, the remains of the former Hiroshima Prefectural Industrial Promotion Hall, is a masterpiece of European design by Czech architect Jan Letzel, completed in 1915, and its very elegance makes its current state all the more devastating. Its outer walls, constructed of dark red brick and reinforced concrete, are permanently stained a ghostly, ashen gray, a monochrome patina of death applied by the thermal pulse of the bomb. The surface is a cartography of violence. A vast, intricate web of cracks radiates across the masonry, pockmarks from flying debris pock the facade, and entire sections of the walls have been shorn away, revealing the hollow, cavernous interior where offices and hallways once echoed with the mundane sounds of human activity. The most iconic, most harrowing feature is the skeletal steel framework of the central dome itself. It is a twisted, rusted corona, a crown of thorns thrust violently upward towards the very sky from which destruction fell. The metal beams, subjected to heat that soared beyond 3,000 degrees Celsius directly beneath the hypocenter, are contorted into surreal, agonized shapes, their original industrial purpose perverted into a sculpture of pure suffering. This metal skeleton, silhouetted against the often serene Japanese sky, is the image that has burned itself into the global consciousness, not a symbol of industry or progress, but a brutal question mark posed against the very concept of such progress. The building's windows are empty, gaping sockets, their glass long since vaporized, offering framed views straight through the corpse of the structure to the vibrant city beyond, a constant, jarring juxtaposition of the past's frozen nightmare and the present's dynamic, precarious normalcy. A crucial, deeply intentional aspect of the experience is the enforced distance. Visitors are not allowed to enter the ruin. They are kept at its perimeter, separated by a reflective moat and simple fences. This is not for mere safety, but for profound philosophical purpose. It forces the role of the witness. One cannot trivialize the space by walking through it. One can only stand before it, bear silent witness to its testimony, and feel the chilling, invisible barrier of history that separates our safe present from that unspeakable past. The silence that emanates from the structure is palpable, a heavy, resonant quiet that seems to swallow the distant city sounds, a silence that is not an absence of noise but the presence of a profound and collective memory of 140,000 voices extinguished in an instant. The Genbaku Dome's ultimate genius and power are cemented by its perfect placement within the symbolic geography of the Peace Park. From the south end of the park, if one stands in the somber halls of the Peace Memorial Museum and looks north, the view is meticulously, heartbreakingly curated. One's gaze passes first through the gentle, ceremonial arch of the cenotaph for the A-bomb victims, a stone chest that holds the registry of the dead, inscribed with the eternal promise, "Let all the souls here rest in peace, for we shall not repeat the evil." Looking through this arch, the Genbaku Dome is perfectly, precisely framed. It is a direct, unbroken line of sight connecting the living who remember, the names of the dead who are remembered, and the physical reason for their death, the warning that must never be forgotten. It is one of the most powerful visual and philosophical axes in the world, a narrative of cause, effect, and hope laid out in landscape architecture. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial, therefore, is far more than a ruined building. It is a permanent, unsettling question directed at the soul of humanity. It does not glorify, it does not accuse with shouted rhetoric, it pleads in a whisper that carries the weight of the world. It is a scar on the collective conscience of our species, left not to fester, but to remind us of the depth of the wound so that we may never, ever inflict it again. To stand in its presence is to feel the weight of history not as an abstract concept in a textbook, but as a cold, physical reality, a truth made of broken brick, scorched iron, and resilient, agonizing memory, standing defiantly in the sun, refusing to be silent, refusing to be forgotten, and demanding with every fractured stone a future free from the shadow it so starkly casts.